Okay, hey guys, my name is Enzen Charlemagne. As you may know by now, welcome to my page. Thanks to my new followers and also to those who have been following my page since the beginning. I really appreciate you for commenting, for liking my videos, and for sharing. So today I'm going to be talking about a very interesting subject. Why did I travel to Argentina? The reason why I traveled to this beautiful country of Argentina is because I am 8 months pregnant and I'm about to give birth to our son. Okay, so I wanted to give my child many options so that if maybe he happens to grow up and he doesn't like to stay in the United States of America, or he wouldn't like to stay in my own country, which is South Africa, he can have a third option without the hassle of applying for visas for different countries. I just wanted something that he can inherit. It's always good to have like 3 citizenships or 3 passports, so that if you feel like you don't belong wherever you are, or you want to explore a different country, you can just do that without maybe going through work or applying for business visas and stuff like that. You can just go into that specific country as a citizen, and you can start your life over. You can buy property, you can do anything that would be beneficial to you or to your family. So in Argentina, guys, Argentina have a very good law when it comes to foreigners giving birth in this country. If you are a foreigner and you gave birth in this country, your child can be able to inherit citizenship of this country. In fact, it's something that's very obvious, and the baby cannot be able to abandon that citizenship, whether he wants it or he doesn't want it. It just sticks with them for the rest of their lives. So I looked at different countries that can be able to give birth to my child based on the fact that the child was born in their land. There was Chile, there was Canada, there was Uruguay, there was Paraguay, there was Argentina, and then I decided to come to Argentina instead of going to other countries as well that have that option. Why Argentina instead of other countries? Because Argentina doesn't only give citizenship to the baby, it also gives citizenship to the parents. You first get the residential permit, and then if you like to apply for citizenship, after you got your residential permit, you can just apply for citizenship, and it's very much easier to get it, and you can get it based on the fact that your baby is a Argentinian citizenship. Your citizen, sorry, not citizenship. Yes, so that's why we chose Argentina. And the other thing is that Argentina have the best healthcare system. The hospitals are very good in this country, and also it have very good tourist spots. It's a very beautiful country. For example, it have the Patagonia, which I would have loved to go and explore that Patagonia, but unfortunately my stay here will be very short. I won't be able to visit many touristic destinations, plus the fact that I'm 8 months pregnant for now, so I can't just make so much moves. I can move a little bit until I give birth, and of course when I have the newborn baby, I won't be able to go and explore with the newborn baby. I'll have to wait for my baby to grow up a little bit. Maybe in the future, when my baby is older, I can come back to Argentina just to explore the country which gave citizenship to my own baby. Yes, so I won't be staying much for a very long time in this country. my stay in this country will be very, very short. I'll be staying, I'm 8 months pregnant, which means next month by December I'll be 9 months pregnant, and I might give birth in December. So after giving birth in this country, I can be able to get the passport for my baby within 15 days of giving birth. So after giving birth, I'll just apply for my baby's Argentinian passport, and then after my baby gets his passport, and also get the American passport, because I don't have to only apply for Argentinian passport, I have to also apply for American passport, so that he can inherit American citizenship through his father, who's an American citizen. And his father is my husband, by the way. I'm a married woman, guys. So I'd have to go to American embassy and apply for his passport. It will take maybe 15 to 20 days as well. And also I have to apply for South African citizenship and register the baby as a South African baby that was born overseas. I don't really know how long will it take for South African embassy to complete the paperwork and to be able to issue the passport to my baby before I can travel. But I promise you, maybe it will be everything maybe will probably take 30 days after I give birth before I get paperwork and everything. And then after that, I'll be out of this country. Yes, I just came to give birth, get the citizenships and the passports, and then after that I'm out. Okay, so I also want to tell you about what happened to me when I traveled, whereas I was 8 months pregnant. It's not easy, guys, to travel whereas you are 8 months pregnant. It's a very, very difficult process, and also it's not allowed, it's not permitted. If the flight realizes that you're 8 months pregnant, they don't allow you to fly. The immigration officers won't allow you to get out of the country. So what happened is that my belly looks, to me, I feel like it's obvious that I'm pregnant. I feel like my belly looks big, but then to other people, I have to explain myself that I'm pregnant because they can't see it. They think that my belly matches my figure. It matches my hips and my behind as well. It matches everything. And since I'm a thick woman, it's not so obvious that I'm pregnant, especially if I'm on loose clothes. People can't really see or can't really know. So upon traveling, I thought that there was a huge possibility of the immigration officers, the staff from the flight that I was using, to prevent me from flying because I was pregnant. But it was a very, very easy thing for me to pass through the immigration system. They never asked me any questions about pregnancy. I was questioned a lot, but then the questions that I was asked were not related to my pregnancy upon exiting the country. They only asked me questions that were not related to me being pregnant. They asked me the countries that I visited before and stuff like that. They also saw on my passport that I lived in China, and they started questioning me about that. And then, but then they had a lot of questions to throw for me. They were asking me a lot of questions, and I felt, congratulations, my friend. Thank you so much, Sin. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, whereas they were asking me a lot of questions, some of the questions they were asking me were yes or no questions. But like, I was so tired, guys. I was a pregnant woman, and I was tired of standing, going to this queue and that queue. And so I ended up, whereas they were questioning me, I ended up saying like for real though. But then my intention was not to disrespect them or to disregard their questions in any way. But then I was just tired. I didn't even notice that those words actually slipped out of my mouth. So they took me to a different immigration office. They checked the computers and stuff. But then it wasn't a very long process. I don't really know what they were doing with my passport in that room, because not everybody was called aside. It was only me. So when they came back, they gave me my passport, and I had to check in, right? By the way, before I traveled, I knew that I'm a pregnant woman, and I use the bathroom more often, you know. Since I'm a pregnant woman, I can't keep holding the pee for a longer period of time as I used to before. So I brought priority boarding. I bought it. I paid for it, and wish I never used. But it's okay that I bought it and I never used it, because sometimes you'd better be safe than sorry. I arrived very early at the port. I was punctual because I was preparing for the unknown. Maybe there could be complications that would prevent me from flying early. But then unfortunately for me, there were no complications. Everything was very, very easy. So since I was the first one on the queue, I didn't use the priority boarding that I paid for. And also the other thing I was worried or concerned about was that maybe I wouldn't be able to fit in the flight seat, because I gained weight on my hips, and I was worried that maybe the chairs would be very small on the flight, and maybe I'd have to be squeezed on the side. So I also paid for the window seat. I've been flying since 2015 for a very long time now, but then in my whole life I never bought priority boarding, and I also never paid for the flight seat. I'll just arrive at the airport and let them allocate whatever seat they wanted to allocate to me. But then I had to come prepared this time, because I was also thinking that since I'm pregnant, I have to be very close to the window, because I have to find something to lean on just in case if I get tired. I didn't want maybe to be placed in the middle of the seats and end up leaning on somebody else. By the way, it's a very, very rude thing for the person to do, to make the other passenger uncomfortable by maybe falling asleep and end up leaning up on them. So yes, I ended up using that one. In the flight, I was so comfortable. My hips fitted very perfectly on the chair, fortunately for me. Although I thought maybe I was too big to fit, they fitted very perfectly. I was comfortable, and I was sitting next to the window. I also bought the pillow cushion that you put around your neck. I don't know what you call that thing, but hey guys, that thing, it made me so uncomfortable. At first I thought that maybe I'm not wearing it the right way, because I was putting it like this way to the front. The button was on the front, and then I leaned up on it, and then I noticed that no, it feels comfortable when you start leaning. You feel like, okay, you're comfortable, and you feel like you can keep it for longer. But then on the long run, you'll notice that you're actually getting pain from it, which you didn't get initially from the beginning. So I started twisting the button. I put it on the side, and then I leaned. Then I noticed that it's also bringing me the same strain. Then I also shifted it to the back, and then I leaned like this, and then it brought a lot of strain on me. Then after a very long time of like putting it around my neck, I decided to just take it off, because I was like, this thing was supposed to help me and make me more comfortable in the flight, but then it's making me very, very uncomfortable. And I also felt like it was gonna make me disabled. That's how painful my neck and my back was because of that thing. And I'm pretty sure that my pain around my neck and my back could have been more bearable if I could have never used that thing. It was my first time buying that pillow cushion. I never bought it ever since I started flying, and I've been flying long distances from China to South Africa, from South Africa into other countries. I never used it. It was my first time using it. Then when I looked around in that flight, I noticed that actually there are very people that are putting this thing around their necks. And then when I noticed that there are very people who are putting it around their necks, then I knew that maybe people knows that this thing will bring more strain on your neck instead of like helping you out. I don't know what was the problem. Maybe it doesn't do that to everybody. Maybe because my neck is very short. I look like I almost don't have a neck. Sorry. My neck is very short. I almost look like I don't have one. Maybe that thing is designed for people with long necks. One moment, please. Gotta do something. Maybe it's helpful to people who have different long neck designs, but mine is like, it's very short, so it didn't work out for me. But it was part of the preparation though. So fast forward, there was a woman, a young couple from Mexico that was sitting next to me on the flight. They had a 5-month-old baby. Baby girl was beautiful. She loved me so much, and she was coming to me more often. So she kind of kept me entertained throughout the flight. I also loved interacting with her because I love babies so much, and babies always used to love me for a very long time. But then now babies love me more. It's like they like to come to me like more than before. I guess they can sense that maybe there is another little one in my belly. So the other thing, guys, that I carried with me is Vicks. Yes, it's Vic VapoRub, this one. It was part of the preparation. Vic is very much helpful for coughs. You understand? If I feel like I'm gonna be coughing, I just open my Vic and I inhale it. Then after that I'll be good. And then also the other thing that it is helpful with is the nausea. If you feel nauseous because of pregnancy, it helps you a lot. So the other thing that I struggled with whereas I was in the flight, when I first came in, within maybe 1 hour of the plane taking off, the air became very, very thin and dry. I could feel like I'm inhaling the air that is thin, extremely dry, and it was bringing a lot of strain on my nose, my throat, and my lungs as well, because the air was so thin. So I used Vic. I opened my Vic and then I inhaled it. And whenever I inhale my Vic, I would feel way better after inhaling my Vic. And when I felt nausea, I would also inhale my Vic, and then I would feel way better. And then the other thing is that I ended up swelling. My feet were swelling so much. By the way, since I've been pregnant, I never had swollen feet. it was my first time having swollen feet, because I guess I had so much activity moving up and down that day and all that. That's why I ended up swelling. So then I wanted to take off my shoes at some point, whereas I was in that flight, but then I decided not to take them off, because I was like, no, if I take them off, maybe I might not be able to fit in the shoes again, because maybe the situation will intensify and my feet would swell more, and then when I try to fit in the shoes, they can't really get in because they got bigger because of the swelling. But then before I got into the plane, I had to take off my shoes when I was going through the security scans, and by that time my feet were not swelling that much. You know, when you're going through security scans, you have to like take off your shoes, take off your jacket, and then put also your carry-on bag on the basket, and then it goes through the scan. That's the only time when I took off my shoes. But inside the plane, I couldn't take them off because, yes, I was worried that if I take them off, they might not fit. So it was a long flight. It was an 8-hour flight and 30 minutes. And I wasn't connecting in any country. I wasn't transiting in any country. It was a direct flight, of which I'm grateful for that. I think if I could have bought a flight ticket that was connecting to other countries, it could have brought more strain on me. But I guess if you are a pregnant woman and you're planning travel, either soon or in future, it's better for you to get a direct flight instead of connecting here and there, because it will prolong your traveling time, and it will bring more strain to your body as a pregnant woman. So it was a direct flight, and inside the flight, we experienced a lot of problems, a lot of turbulences. Yes. We would get an announcement every now and then that, okay, guys, just fasten your safety belt. You know, nobody is allowed to get up and use the bathroom. Every passenger have to remain seated in their seats, because there's a turbulence ahead of us, or there's going to be a turbulence now. So just fasten up your seat belts. Then we will do that. We'll fasten up our seat belts, and then we'll remain in the same position. After that, the flight will be shaken. It will be shaken so bad, like it would go left, right, and it will feel like it's about to fall. We had a lot of that. Maybe it's because it was a night flight, or maybe the weather was bad. I don't really know why we had a lot of that. And people were so calm and quiet. It was not like in South Africa, because it was not my first time taking a flight which experienced turbulences on the way. In South Africa, I believe it was 2019, I was also in a mango flight, and there were a lot of turbulences in the air, and the flight would be shaken, and it would feel like it was gonna fall. But then the difference between the South African flight and that flight is because the South African people, after they got terrified because of what was happening, they would just scream loud. Ah! Everyone will make noise left, right, and center, front and back. Everyone would just be screaming for their lives. And some people will start praying out loud, calling the name of Jesus, which is absolutely good. There's nothing wrong with that, but then they will just make noise. And then the difference with this one is that everybody else was calm. You know, even though it felt like it was going to fall, nobody was making noise. People were so quiet, very, very quiet. The only thing that was making noise in that flight, it was a baby, and she didn't cry because of her turbulence. She just cried because she was a baby, you know. She never cried during the times of turbulences. And then the dog barked a few times when we were having a turbulence, but I guess he or she was shocked, and maybe it was his first time getting that experience ever since he started flying. But then he didn't really bark for the longest time. It was just a very short period of time, and then he kept quiet. By the way, the dog was the companion dogs. So some airplanes do allow people to fly with their companion animals. Yes. So after that, fast forward guys, we arrived in Argentina, and then after our arrival in Argentina, we went through the immigration offices, and then I also had to get my bag scanned. First of all, I went to the immigration officer. I presented my passport. She never asked me a lot of questions. Okay, what are you doing here? Did you come as a tourist or what? She never asked me that. She just asked me, how long are you staying in the country? I said probably 80 days. But then I knew that I wouldn't really stay 80 days. I would leave immediately after I get the paperwork for my baby off, which I estimate I could probably stay 60 days in this country. But then I said 80 days just in case if something happens and I don't leave earlier than I thought, I could be like safe. Maybe they would have 80 in their system. But then I'm pretty sure that I would leave before the expiration of 80 days. So after she asked me how long am I staying in the country, she gave me my passport back, and to my surprise, ever since I started traveling to different countries, they always put the stamp on your passport when you enter. It's called an entry stamp. But then this lady didn't put no entry stamp on my passport, and then I didn't notice it then. And then it was after I left the immigration office that I noticed that my passport didn't have no stamp. So I came back, and then I asked her if she forgot to put on the entry stamp, because I was thinking that if I didn't come back for the stamp, maybe they might think that I entered their country illegally, and it might give me problems when I have to fly out the country. But then to my surprise, she told me that, oh no, we outgrew the process. We're no longer putting on the entry stamps on the passports now. We just put the person in the system. So it's recorded in the computers that you did enter Argentina and in a legal way. It's not necessary for us to just fill your passports with stamps. Even when I'm exiting Argentina, they won't have the exit stamp. Okay. I was shocked because I never went to any country that doesn't put stamps before. So it was a new information for me. So after I left that window, I went to scan my suitcase and also my carry-on bag. So when I scanned my check bag and then my carry-on, the guy asked me to open the bag. You understand? And I was wondering in my heart, like, okay, there are a lot of people passing here and nobody is asked to open their bags. So I was wondering, I wonder what's wrong with my bag, like what happened. But then I wasn't worried that maybe somebody's decided to put something in there, whereas I wasn't looking, because it's like I had all my bags locked. So there was no way that somebody put something. So I started looking for the keys of my check bag, and then I opened the check bag. I opened the main gate, the main zip. Then I showed him what's inside. Then after that, he browsed just a little bit, and then he said okay. Then he asked me to open the other pocket. Then I I opened with those keys, and then he just checked, and then he was like, okay, you're good to go, welcome to Argentina. And then after that, I asked myself, I wonder, why am I the only person who was asked to open their bags and not anybody else who came out from that plane? I was the only black, by the way, that day who traveled to Argentina. There were no black people, so I thought, maybe is it because of my skin color? Maybe I look suspicious, that maybe I have something illegal that I'm bringing into the country, or maybe is it because of my citizenship, that I'm traveling with a South African passport, and maybe not many South African citizens are traveling to Argentina as tourists. But then I didn't want to overthink it as well, because Argentinians are beautiful, loving people. Ever since I arrived in this country, I never experienced any type of racism. So I can't say it was racist because I was black. Maybe we can just say that they had to do it maybe to one person per day. They had to choose maybe one random person that they can tell to open their bags, and then they check what's inside their luggage. And maybe I just happened to be that random person on that specific day. So I don't want to overthink that, because yeah, everything went smooth when I arrived here. So upon arriving at the airport, now I had to book a hotel or an apartment, whichever was available, because guys, I didn't book in advance before I arrived here. Why didn't I book in advance? Because I knew I was 8 months pregnant and I wasn't supposed to travel via airplane, whereas I was 8 months pregnant, and I knew that there were many chances of being prevented from flying since I was 8 months pregnant by the time I traveled. So I was like, if I book an apartment or a hotel in advance, I know that if they prevent me from flying, I'd be losing all the money that paid for the hotel. So to like save money or to prevent some losses, I should just book upon arriving in the country. So the next step that I had to do now was to book. Hey guys, I look in different hotels. I wasn't finding anything in the capital city. I was finding things outside the capital, like in Mendoza. And I was like, oh, to go to Mendoza, like I can't really find a flight that goes to Mendoza now. And since it's the same day, and even if I were to find it, it was going to be extremely expensive. It wasn't available anyway at whatever cost. The next available flights were gonna start the following day. So also when I checked the bus options to go to Mendoza from the capital of Argentina, which is Buenos Aires, it's like 8 hours. So I was like, no, ain't no way I'm taking an 8-hour bus. I'm already drained, I'm already tired. What I want to do now is to just get to my apartment and rest, take a shower and rest. That's it. Order some food. I don't want to travel again. It doesn't matter like if it's 2 hours or 3 hours. I just want to get an apartment nearby or a hotel nearby and go and rest to my temporal home. So I wasn't finding anything. I would call this hotel, that hotel. I wasn't finding anything. And then after that, I went to Airbnb. I checked, since I wanted an apartment for today and for the next days to come. I didn't find any. I wasn't finding anything. And I also went to Home Away, which is Vibo, for like booking vacation homes, but then also there I wasn't finding anything. Guys, when I'm saying When I'm telling you I wasn't finding anything, it's not like there was absolutely nothing. But then there was nothing that I wanted to get in the list. Like the apartments that were there were not extremely beautiful. And I didn't want to book an apartment that will make me to have like mental health issues. Like I'm getting into this apartment and then all of a sudden I'm stressed out because it looks so ugly. Or I'm stressed out because it looks so basic. I wanted a happy place type of apartment, a place that I will occupy and then I would feel proud and happy every single day because I'm there. Something that will not make my mental health to deteriorate, because when you are pregnant you should also look after your mental health. If you know that something is going to bring you depression, you should avoid doing it. So all the apartments that I was getting on Airbnb were overpriced, first of all, and they were basic, you know. They were, you couldn't enter those apartments and say, wow, this is beautiful. And I wanted to have that hype. Okay, I'm in the new country and I also got a beautiful apartment. Not okay, I'm in the new country, but then I got an ugly ass apartment. No, I didn't want that vibe. So I was becoming so stressed out at this point. And then I told my husband that I looked on Airbnb. The apartments are so overpriced and very, very much basic. Overpriced was not a problem, actually. The problem was that they were so basic. If they were overpriced and beautiful, that could have been fine with me. It could have worked well. But then the fact that they were not, even if they were cheaper, the fact that they were not beautiful, I wasn't gonna book them because of that reason. So I called my husband. I told him, oh, I'm not finding anything that I can book right now, and you know what, I'm getting stressed out. I'm getting so tired. I trust your judgment. I trust you. Just find me an apartment. Don't show me any photos. I'm tired of browsing through different photos and looking at different apartments to see if I like them. Just find something beautiful for me and then pay for it and let me occupy that space. That's it. Okay? I'm no longer looking by myself. This thing is above my power now and it's exhausting my energies. So my husband said, okay, I'll find something for you. So my husband found an apartment which was available for the next 3 days, though. It was not for the whole month. They were fully booked for the other days. So he booked for the next 3 days. By the way, that apartment was beautiful, guys. I was right for trusting my husband's judgment. He booked me a very beautiful apartment, and then he gave me the contact of the person in charge that I have to contact when I'm going there. And then after he paid for everything, I just paid for the taxi, and then it took me home. And when I arrived there, I asked the landlord, does he have long rental apartments, maybe that are not booked, that are beautiful as that one? Then he told me, oh sure, yes, I do have some, I can show you. And then I was starting to get comfortable. Okay, I'll be covered for the next 30 days. I don't have to go through the hassle of booking other apartments, you know, the stress of like checking Airbnb and not finding anything nice, checking Vibo. I was hoping that I'd be covered, but unfortunately he told me on the second day when I was there that I don't want to waste your time. Just try to find something. I know that this is a very busy season. You might not get a place to stay. But unfortunately, the apartment that I promised you is no longer available. Somebody else booked it online on bookings.com. And he didn't confirm with us before he booked. He just paid for it right away and won't be able to tell him that we will refund him and he have to find another space. So you have to find yourself a space to stay. So I got a little bit frustrated after he told me that, but then I knew that the Lord would make something happen for us. He would help me to get another beautiful apartment that I can occupy for the next 30 days. So then we went on Airbnb, we were browsing. But then we had like 2 days in advance before I could like vacate the other apartment. So fortunately, by the grace of the Most High God, we managed to get this apartment. And after I had to leave that apartment, I came to this one. So I want to tell you all, guys, if you are planning to travel, book your apartment in advance. It's better to have a place in advance than to book a place under pressure when you have like few days to occupy it, or when you have to occupy it maybe today and pay for it today, because it becomes extremely expensive when the dates are closer. And besides that being extremely expensive, it's also a very stressful process, because it's very difficult to find an apartment on the last moments. It's better for you to have it in advance. But then, since I wasn't sure if I would be allowed to fly, whereas I'm 8 months pregnant, things had to go the way they went. And then I'm absolutely fine. Everything is great. Everything went well by the grace of God. And yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today, guys. Thank you so much for joining my live, Zen, and everybody else. Thank you so much for keep watching my videos, for liking, for commenting, for interacting. I'll see you on the next video, and I love you so much. Bye, guys.